everybody. Hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. Wow, I have been getting so much done in my sewing room lately, and it's just so nice since I don't have any projects that I have to get done by any certain date. It's almost like it's just a freedom. You know, I got in here this morning, it was probably about 5:45. And of course it's dark outside still, and it's just me and my little slimline light over on the piecing machine, and it was quiet. The dogs were still in their crates and Keith was still asleep, and I got a lot of sewing done, so I really enjoyed it. That's like my favorite time of day. I make some coffee and then sit there and get some stitching done. So I wanted to show you what all I'm working on and what the progress is of stuff and whatnot. So the other day I had told y'all in my last video that I was way behind on doing Autumn Wonderland with Pat Sloan. She's doing a sew along on this. It's gonna wrap up in January, I think she said, maybe early February, but it's this quilt. I love this quilt. I think it is just precious. And it is by Joanne Figueroa from Fig Tree and Company. It's all MODA fabrics. I really like it. Let me show you the kit. So what Fat Quarter Shop did was they packaged everything into what they call chapters. So I'm in the middle of chapter 2 right now, but see how it says chapter 3 on there? And then those blocks that Pat is working on, so they've broken it up into the way Pat has said she's going to do her sew along by chapters, which is really cool. And this is actually Woodland Wonderland with the black and red, but Autumn Wonderland has, because it's got a linen background instead of the black. It's a gray linen, kind of a charcoal gray linen. Can you see that? So it's awesome. All of your fabrics are right where you need them, and there's 7 chapters, and then I got the backing as well. So I'll have this. I'm trying to catch up. So this morning, let me put this down. Ooh. This morning I got chapters 1 and half, all of chapter 1, half of chapter 2. So chapter 1 is the large mushrooms, little toadstools. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, these are adorable. And then there were 2 little ones, so I got those done. And 4 sawtooth stars. Those were done this morning and today as well. And then this is the weather vane block, and this is out of chapter 2. So I got this one done. I just finished this just a few minutes ago. Y'all, I'm using this new product. Let me get it. I had talked about this in my haul video from the Houston Quilt Festival, and it is by Magic. It's called Premium Quilting and Crafting Spray. I'm loving this, you guys. This stuff, if you guys come across this stuff, I think they're gonna put it in quilt stores, I'm not sure. I picked this up at the show, and but if you find it, I absolutely highly recommend that you get it. I mean, look, let me just show you. I mean, these have body, okay? And just look at how nice that turned out. One of the things I noticed with this particular stuff, it has no scent, it's not sticky, it doesn't flake, and the spray mister is pretty good. So one of the things I really noticed about this stuff was, you know how when you can be sewing along and your feed dogs will grab something a little bit more than you would have liked, and you'll get a little tiny ripple on one piece. I don't have any ripples on any of these fabrics. They just aren't there. So it has relaxers, fabric relaxers in it, and it's so funny when I spray these before I iron them, that they'll curl. As soon as I spray them, they curl. It's kind of cool. But then they iron out flat and they stay flat. So that's pretty neat. I am really liking this. I will probably be using this from now on. I got to figure out where to get more because I'm going through it. I had told y'all a couple videos ago I was making these little angels for the ladies in my DAR group, our luncheon. These are freestanding lace angels from Designs by Juju. Let me see if I can get if you could see one maybe on this Crazy Cuts package. I got something to show you guys. See the little angel? That's the 3-inch angel. And I just today, so I have 18 of them done. I just finished these 6. I'm putting Spanky through his paces. So I've got 6 more right there. And I'm probably gonna do another dozen, and that should do it. I've got 18 finished, and hopefully that'll be enough. I don't want to run short, but it's no big deal. I could make a gazillion of these things. So that's in the works. I just got Christmas in the City off the long arm. Let me show you. It turned out so pretty. Look at the backing. I still have to sew the binding down. Look at the backing. Isn't that beautiful? Such pretty fabric. But I used a poinsettia. Can you see the poinsettias on there? Very nice. I'm very, very pleased with how this turned out. And it is an Irish chain quilt. I'll hold it up in case you haven't seen it. You're new to my channel. Hi, welcome. There it is. This is a pattern that is inside of the Hustle and Bustle Jolly Bar at the Fat Quarter Shop. A lot of you email me and say you can't find Christmas in the City. They had it. This is from a Christmas in the City quilt kit. And that's what they called it. And that's the name of the pattern, is Christmas in the City. But if you search Christmas in the City on Fat Quarter Shop, you're not going to find it. Because it's a pattern in the back of the Hustle and Bustle Jolly Bar. I'll put a link to it down below. They still have them. And that way you can make one of these too. But you're only going to get the Jolly Bar. And you need one Jolly Bar to make this quilt, this size quilt. But you're also going to have to get the background fabrics and the backing and the binding and whatnot. And I put this binding on while it was on the long arm. I will put a link up here to a video where I show how to do that. That is my go-to method for putting on a binding, you guys. Life is short, okay? And I do not want to wrangle quilts on the sewing machine to put a binding on. So I'll just show you guys. It works just fine, okay? The only thing is, if you're gonna use this method, you cannot care about which way your miters go, because usually when you put a quilt binding on regular, all your miters go the same way. You can't do that just by the nature of, you know, it's gonna go one way on this side of the long arm and it's gonna go another way on the other side. So you'll have like different sides on top. Whatever. I could care less about that. Do not care about that at all. So once I took it off, and the nice thing about doing that on the long arm that way is I use the tension between the rods, the bars on the long arm to keep it taut, and that's where I trim the quilt, is right there on the long arm. And this is already on it and everything. It's great. So huge time saver for me for that. And then in one of the videos I did, I think it was 2 ago, I had told y'all that one of the ladies in my DAR group came up to me and offered, she had this white plastic trash bag full of these. They were 10.5-inch squares, quilt blocks that she and her sister had done before her sister passed. And this was several years ago. These quilt blocks are pretty old. And she asked me if I would put them together for her in a quilt. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, my quilty buddy Lisa was here from South Carolina a couple weeks ago, and we talked about it. So these blocks, like I said, they're 10.5, and I left the stabilizing stitches in them. I don't know. Let me hold one up so you can see it. Can you see that? These were all done with a template that they drew with a pencil, and so the back of the blocks, a lot of them have dark markings from the pencil markings or whatever it was that they used to mark this block. And a couple of the blocks have scorch marks or stains, you know, what happens to quilts. So I decided to go ahead and put sashing between. It's a 16 blocks is what she gave me. So I made a 4x4. I put sashing between, and the sashing is an orange grunge orange. I'm looking right at it. This sashing is an olive grunge. It's got little bits of blue and whatnot in it right there. And this fabric came from a kit I had from Connecting Threads years ago. It was the English trellis quilt, and it's been a UFO. It's been buried forever, and I don't know if my skill at the time wasn't good enough to handle it, or there was a lot of shading that went on in that quilt, and I just wasn't really comfortable with trying to get it all together right. So there it sat. And so I went looking for fabric for this, and I thought, well, this is the backing. This is the backing fabric for that English trellis quilt. It's just beautiful. It's got the olive in it. That's why they gave olive grunge. I'm not going to put any borders on this at all because it's already got pretty puffy poly batting all around it. And the batting was trimmed in such a way that it'll fill in the gaps, okay? So I'm just gonna put a backing on it, and then I'm gonna bind it with the olive as well. So that's the best I can do, you guys. I want to help her out. I love this lady. She's as sweet as she can be. But, when you get a project that is half done and then you look at it and it's not something, this is way out of my wheelhouse. So I didn't want to put borders on. I mean, I'd love to do like an inner border of the olive because I have enough fabric for that. I'd love to do an inner border of the olive and then an outer border of this fabric as well, maybe a little bit wider, but I'd have to then add batting to equal the height and the loft that's already in here. And it'd be two different kinds of batting because I don't have any poly. I don't use poly. I don't know. Let me know if you've got any brighter ideas than what I came up with, me and Lisa came up with. Hey, so look at this quilt. You guys were awesome. So many, I mean, I think the dots in the one direction were about even of, which one y'all liked. And you guys remember when I went to Colorado Springs on our trip to Idaho, Christine from Jelly Rolls to Go, she's the one who made the table runner for me out of this fabric. So she saw the video and she took time, I cannot believe she did this. She screen captured my video and then started playing, copying and pasting and turning the blocks. And I'll show you what she sent me. I'll put a picture of it right here. You guys, how sweet was that? I just couldn't believe it. I called her and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the dots are there. And a lot of you had said, hey, have you seen the barn raising layout? So this kind of has the barn raising layout as well, because it's going to have the diamond shape pattern on it as well. So we've got dots and we've got diamond shape. And this is the fabric that I have, that fabric that she put on the outside. I've got that. So this is the fabric. Now, so the issue with the dots before was I had an odd number. I was at 2 rows of 5 and 4 rows of 7 blocks. Well, if you can tell now, we're down to 4 blocks, but I'm gonna add a border to the outside of this, out of this fabric all the way around. And I went back in the rig and I measured it and it's gonna work perfect. So I'm very happy about that. So isn't that beautiful? Look, I love that star pattern that kind of comes out of the center of that. Isn't that cool? Christine, you're awesome. Hey, while I was on the phone with her, a while back, she got these silk crazy cuts. She's got a bunch of these left and she's trying to liquidate them. And these are from MODA and they are vibrant jewel tone pieces of silk. And there's purple, royal blue, turquoise, leaf, lime, red, gold, and black. So I really, the first time I talked about these, I wasn't real sure what you could do with them. And you guys, I'm gonna put some pictures right here of what she did with them. She went out and got the crazy quilt block pattern from Embroidery Library. They've got a couple of different ones. And then she used regular fabric in that quilt block and then used a complementary piece of silk in it, and it just made the whole thing just pop. And then she also used those crazy quilt blocks and turned them into a tote bag. So it's just amazing. She's so creative. Christine, you're so creative. But also, if you don't have an embroidery machine, she includes the crazy quilt block pattern, sewing pattern with this when you get it. And she's trying to liquidate them, and she's getting rid of them for 40% off with coupon code PTWT. That's Power Tools with Thread 40, PTWT 40. I'll put a link below in the description box. This is gorgeous, unbelievable. I'm like, how come I didn't think of that? Oh. But I wanted to tell you guys that too. Oh, also, remember I was showing y'all that Tervis mug with all the Texas stuff on it? I actually heard from the company, they must have got a ping back on the link or something, but they want to give all of my viewers a coupon, 10% off with coupon code Becky10, BECKY10, Becky10. So if I will put a link to that below as well, again, and if you go and order one of those mugs or probably whatever you want on that site, I don't know, coupon code Becky10. So that's kind of cool. You know, if you've got somebody who, how can I put this? When I was overseas, because I'm a Texan, when I was overseas, I could not get enough of home. And it's just so important that you've got that connection to things from home. And when you come home on leave, for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then you have to go back, you just do everything. You eat all the food that you can get and everything that's local. So if you have a family member or a friend who is a Texan, and maybe they're in the military or maybe they're away at college, and anybody who's a Texan that's homesick, that is the perfect gift for them. They will treasure that. So you Texans and Texans at heart, I've got my iced tea in it right now. It's right here. Oh, y'all, when I was making these blocks, the linen, oh my goodness, look at my poor Steady Betty. Poor thing. Hey, did you hear Steady Betty is coming out with a product called a Pedal Betty? And it's gonna go under your sewing machine to keep your pedal from sliding. Gonna have to check those out. I like their products, I always have. In the to-do list, this is the backing scraps and batting scraps from when I pulled Christmas in the City off the long arm, and I've got to trim these up and get these into my scrap bin. Wearing the Creative Notions shirt. So the Creative Notions box came in, you guys. Again, love it, love it. Those of you who are new to my channel, Creative Notions is an online quilt shop that's up in Utah. Vicky is the lady who owns the shop, and she and Andrea worked their tails off to put together a subscription box for you guys, especially those of you that are still in states that are locked down, or maybe your local quilt shop did not survive the pandemic, which is so sad. But they put together a box of gorgeous things for you to play with and do, and it's a surprise every month. And this year, they have been putting together, let me pull this out of here. I got my orange pop rulers in here from Kimberbell too. They have been putting together this year a set of rulers. And the rulers, usually they come, the kit comes like in a drawstring bag. And the smaller rulers, which are in this zipper pouch, came in those smaller packages. But since the rulers have gotten so much bigger throughout the year, they're now sending them in boxes, and they will go back to the bags when all the rulers have been sent out. Let me show you guys this. This blue bag right here is actually, it came in 1 month, and it actually is for you to keep your rulers in. That was the whole point of this one. I just happen to have my orange pop rulers in there because that's a good place. They fit in that bag. I need another one of those bags, as a matter of fact. Okay, so she started the year with the 2.5-inch square, and then we went to the 3.5-inch square. You guys, I use these. So I use this one right here to square up these these 2-inch half square triangles right here, and I actually shot a video on how I did that. And I'll get that out as like a quick quilting quick tip. So there was 3.5. Here is a 4.5-inch square, and look, I put some washi tape on the back as a ridge to square up all of those blocks in the Christmas in the City quilt. And this made it it was like quick. I was done. There was 120 of them. We had a 5.5-inch square ruler. We have a 6.5-inch square ruler. I wish I had a piece of paper or something to show you guys so you could see. These are great because they've got the diagonal lines on them, so you can easily square up half square triangles, okay? And then it's got the heavy duty line, and the heavy line, the heavy colored line, the wide colored line right there, it's textured on the back, so it doesn't slide. I love it. I love it. Here's the 7.5, okay? Here's the 8.5. I'm running out of paper. And then the 9.5, so that was September, right? And then this month we got this is October's box. Y'all, I'm sure this stuff is sitting out in a boat somewhere in the harbor at LA, somewhere. But let's go through the box. If you haven't gotten it yet and you want a surprise, you can turn this off right now. Spoiler alert, okay? But I just got this and I want to share it with you guys. All right, so what came in it this month? Let's see, I'm gonna get the paper so that I can tell you guys. This is Buzzworthy is the name of the subscription this month. And the October box value came to $81. We have 8 fat quarters, 1/3 yard yellow gingham, Sullivan's rotary cutter. Let's go through all of this, okay? Look at these beautiful bee fabrics. Aren't they gorgeous? So pretty. I'm gonna take this off and show you guys. I love these. This stuff is so soft. It is just beautiful. Okay, so there's that one. Words. Be kind, pure honey, be positive. We got bumblebees on yellow. We have, wow, that's awesome. We got like honeycomb. It's kind of a, wow, goodness, look at this fat quarter, you guys. That is so pretty. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Look at that beehive right there. There's something that's got a special name. I don't know what it is. I heard them called that. I was watching some channel and they were talking about it. So we have honeycombs. We have a blender, yellow and gold honeycombs. We have bees on sunflowers. They're just so pretty. Here is black and gold. It's got some metallic in it, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. Here's some more bees with daisies. They're so pretty. We have bees with geometric shapes. Little diamonds in there. Yeah, so those are the 8. How nice, huh? Just gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? And you always get pattern ideas of what to make with the fabrics that come. So essentially in your kit, you get a big project to do and you still get to quilt and play with it. So this is for the Apple Table Runner and Drawstring Backpack idea. So Angela Stoutinger, she's a great quilter. Angela came up with the Subscribers Block of the Month competition, and that is the apple sitting on the books. You see this? So what they did was they took that pattern and turned it into a table runner using the bee fabrics. Isn't that cool? And then also there is a backpack idea, a drawstring bag backpack. Very cool on the back. You've got the instructions, you can make one or the other. So neat. Or if you don't want the table runner, you can make a throw with it. And they give you the templates to make your hexies. You guys, this is a one-stop shop for something to do. It's awesome, okay? Absolutely awesome. Or you can make a table runner out of it. So nice. That is just beautiful. I love it. There is the Jewel Sampler Quilt. So every month they send a couple of patterns for that. And you get the block pattern. This is for the Folded Corners Block of the Month. Okay, so there's that. And you get full color picture, and it comes in a sleeve so you can put it in a notebook. They give you a pattern, this is so nice, for a quillo. If you've got a child, likes to hang out and go sleep over at Nana's or Grammy's like me, sleep in the car, anything. So they gave you a quillo pattern. That's very nice. Here's another Jewel Sampler Quilt, Monkey Wrench Block of the Month. So you got that one. It also came with yellow gingham. It came with a Sullivan's rotary cutter. Y'all, this could not have come at a better time because my husband took mine. I'm gonna give him this one because it's blue. But he took my other blue one, my Olfa. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to him. We got Tula's unicorn head straight pins. How about that? Very neat. I love it. These are great. And then we got a little sweet, salty and sweet, some peanuts, a little trail mix, very nice. And then the 10.5-inch ruler came. All right. So we got two more. We're gonna get the 11.5 and a 12.5, I would venture to guess. So I know a lot of you are like, well, every month I think I should do that or whatever. And then you see the box and you're like, oh man. There's also some clear, what did they call it? They called it template plastic. So if you want to make your own templates, you can do that. Creative Notions subscribers receive 15% off purchases at the creativenotionsquiltshop.com using the code. They give it to you in here at checkout. Okay. And then they will accept your quilts for computerized long arm quilting, and they also get a 15% discount on the quilting price. So it really pays to be a subscriber to the Creative Notions Quilt Shop box. All right. Oh, this was the Quillo was an opportunity to give back. We as quilters have an opportunity to give back during this holiday by making a Quillo from scraps that you are not using to donate to a child in need. You can find Christmas trees with tags for kids, ages and gender in malls, markets, banks, and many other places. You may also have a local sub for Santa who would love to have a handmade quilt to give to a child in need. We've included a Quillo pattern for you to use. A quilt label will be included in next month's box. Please feel free to share this pattern as you see fit. A Quillo can give comfort in times of need or stress. Let's share our talents and surprise a child this Christmas. Very nice, Vicki. I love the giving. I think that's wonderful. So, awesome box. I don't want to have to spend all afternoon editing this video. So I'm just gonna put all this stuff away. No, I'm gonna edit the video and then I'm gonna put all this stuff away. All right, you guys, that's it. That's a lot. That's some beautiful fabric. I can't wait to play with it. All right, we will talk to you soon. Go sew something. Bye.